Hey YouTube, so I'm gonna be doing a video over Asher's IEP, and I haven't really had the chance to talk about it yet, but I did a video for Caden, and so I'm definitely gonna be doing one for Asher. This looks really crazy. They always do. A lot of things on IEPs are repeated a lot. So all of these, I'm not going to be reading all of these papers. I'm just going to be covering the first part, which is basically copy and pasted throughout the rest of the IEP. So I guess I will give you a little backstory because I don't think I really talked much about it while it was going on. I kind of wanted to get everything figured out before I told you guys a whole lot about it, because the hard thing about having a child with delays or any kind of special needs, anything like that, the process to get them anywhere is a long one, and so you don't really have all the information. You can't really tell people really much of anything, and it can be frustrating for you and for me. So I didn't want to tell people what was going on because I didn't really have the answers. I couldn't really tell anybody where we're going or how we're figuring things out or what's gonna happen because I didn't know. Now I kind of have a solid plan set in place and everything's moving along. Asher is in school, so I can answer some of those questions that I couldn't have answered before. We had noticed that Asher had a delay a while ago, but the programs that they had available where we lived before are not the same as the programs they have available where we're living now. They have this screening called Count Your Kid In, and basically you just take your child there. They have a bunch of different rooms with a bunch of different psychologists and teachers and stuff who evaluate your child in every area. They did physical, behavioral, all sorts of things that they look at to see if your child is not on track. What they do with that information is if your child is not up with their peers, they send that information over to the schools that they work with. There are, I think, 5 in our county who have an early childhood intervention program. And basically that means it's kind of like a preschool for children who are 3 years old and not old enough to go to the 4-year-old preschool. And basically those kids are evaluated again at the school itself to determine if they're eligible for placement in the program, and to determine, you know, the factors of their IEP and how it's all set up. So we went to the Count Your Kid In thing, and they did say that he was below average in, I think it was every level. I don't have the paperwork with me. But from there, they contacted our school system that Caden goes to and let them know. Our school system called us up a few days later and said that we could make a meeting to evaluate him with Caden's teacher last year. So we went to this meeting, and they weren't available for about, I think it was 2 weeks before we could do this testing there. And it was pretty simple. They took Asher into a room with a school therapist, and Bryce and I and the teacher sat down together and we talked about what we see, and the therapist studied Asher on her own to see what she saw. We didn't know the results then. They couldn't tell us. And then it was another 2 weeks after that before we got the meeting, which was actually an IEP meeting, but it's just a meeting to determine if he was placed. That is where all this paperwork came in. So I went into the meeting and they told me that he was eligible for placement, and they told me his scores on the testing that they did at the school. So that is what I'm gonna read to you because that's what's in the IEP. Asher was given the Battelle Developmental Inventory 2nd edition test to determine his current levels of development. Okay, so I'm sorry if you guys can hear noise in the background. Bryce is watching the kids, and on the phone. So I'm gonna try and get through this, and hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. If not, just ask me in the comments below what I said, or to clarify, because it's really distracting. I'm sorry, guys. He was evaluated in the following areas. His development quotient and percentile rank are listed below. The developmental quotient average, okay, so this is the average score, is 90 to 109 on this assessment. Self-help skills, like involving self-care and personal responsibilities. His developmental quotient was 73, and the average range is 90 to 109. So he was below average, and he was in the 4th percentile rank for this. The sun just came out of the clouds. The next is personal social, and that means, that kind of sounds pretty self-explanatory, but in the personal social area, skills involved in interacting with adults and peers. Development of self-concept and social role assessed, 77, and that is in the 6th percentile, so it's a bit above what the adaptive score was, but it's still below the 90 to 109 average. And next is motor and cognitive. These were assessed by the therapist. And motor, it's also self-explanatory, but gross motor, large muscles, and fine motor, the small muscles, and perceptive motor skills are assessed. Their skills were really low at a 64, which is in the 1st percentile, so that's really low. Okay guys, so I'm just moving because I can't get it done over there. The lighting is going crazy because the sun's setting, so I'm just gonna try and do this really quick over here. The last is cognitive. I'm losing my papers, I had to move, so bear with me. Attention, memory, reasoning, academic, perceptual, and conceptual skills. A 59, and the average is 100, or the average is around 100. So he got under 1%, 1st percentile, so that was really, really low. So to be placed in the school, you have to be below the 7th percentile mark, if I remember correctly. He was below the 7th percentile mark in every single developmental level. So I will just tell you, he obviously got placed, which is why I'm doing this video, so you probably already know that. But anyways, now I'm going to tell you what they said about each thing. In the adaptive or self-help area, a development quotient score of 73 was obtained in this area, indicating a mild developmental delay. The concerns are that Asher is unable to remove his shoes without assistance, drink from a cup without assistance, is not potty trained, and is not able to use appropriate voice and behavior in public settings. Oh, and it also says Asher has difficulty following rules for simple games, putting away toys when asked, and showing care when handling an infant or small animal. So these things for a child who just turned 3 last month don't seem too concerning to me, just because of his age, but they were like 2 percentiles below scoring good enough. Those alone don't really concern me that much because he did just turn 3 last month. But anyway, in the personal social area, we're moving on to the next one. Skills involved with interacting with adults and peers, development of self-concept, and social role are assessed. So he scored a 77, which indicated a mild delay. Concerns. Asher is unable to ask for help when needed, follow rules for playing games, recognize an adult's feelings, and wait his turn for an adult's attention. None of those concern me, except he doesn't recognize feelings or emotions. He doesn't recognize them in other people. but the other ones seem pretty normal for kids his age, I would think. Asher is unable to show sympathy or concern for others. That's basically the same thing. Interacting with peers appropriately in non-play group settings, and sharing property with others. So what 3-year-old is amazing at sharing. Asher is unable to state his age. I don't know why it says that. Oh yeah, because he just had his birthday and he couldn't state his age. Engage in adult role-playing and imitation. And appropriately communicate a range of negative emotions. So next one is the motor and cognitive, and these are the things that the therapist saw when she did this. Concerns is he cannot walk backward, he can't jump with both feet, and walking up and down stairs without assistance. Fine motor concerns include scribbling linear or circular markings spontaneously, using pad of fingertips to grasp a pencil. These are things he can't do. And string 4 large beads. Perceptual motor concerns include initiating circular markings, stacking egg cubes, and imitating vertical and horizontal markings. Okay, so someone just showed up, so I'm gonna finish this really quickly. Last one is cognitive, and that's attention, memory, reasoning, academic, perceptual, and conceptual. And he got a 59, which indicates a significant delay. His concerns in that area, he had difficulty attending to an activity, finding a hidden object under 2 cups, and selecting the hand hiding a toy. In the area of reasoning and academic skills, Asher was unable to pull a cloth to obtain an object, put objects inside of each other, and match basic color. In the area of perception and concepts, Asher was unable to match simple shapes, identify objects by their use, and sort by color. For Asher to qualify for early childhood special education services, he must score at or below 7% in at least one of these areas tested. According to the evaluation results, Asher qualifies for early childhood special education services in all areas tested. Based on the evaluation results, it's recommended that Asher be placed in speech and language therapy to remediate the delays discussed above. Okay, his receptive language weaknesses include identifying a large variety of nouns, identifying objects by use, following one-step directions, and identifying pronouns. His expressive language weaknesses include naming a large variety of nouns, answering yes/no questions, using 3 to 4 word phrases to communicate wants, needs, and answering what questions. That is basically where we're at, and I'm not going to get into the whole, like, the plans and all that stuff because this is already a long video, but basically they will reevaluate him in a year to see how he's doing. They set forth goals in each area. Basically all the things that he was not doing, they plan on working with him with. So like and he has speech and language therapy 30 minutes a week, I believe, and he's only there for 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday. So 30 minutes a week isn't bad. And per the evaluation, they are working on all those things that I told you that they said they felt that he couldn't do. They're going to be working with him one-on-one to help him get to that point with all those things. So and those are the goals they said. It's nothing really exciting. Like with Caden's, they had like weird goals, but this one, the goals are just basically everything that they said. So anyways, that is Asher's IEP, and in a year when he gets evaluated again, I will update you on how he's doing and what's going on. Bye guys.
Let me go, go, let me go, go, let me go. I told you I'm not yours anymore. No, I'm not yours. So why are you trying to hold on when I'm not there for you?